All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be looking at the Pixel 6 Pro versus the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Now I'm going to run down a list of things here, and I'm just going to give you my honest opinion about them. And I hope you enjoy the content. It might be a little lengthy. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to try to get it as compact as possible. I'm trying not to do too much in this video. Yeah, we're gonna get it rolling. So the first thing we're going to start with is the design of the device. Now, the Pixel 6 being the challenger, here is the Stormy Black, I believe it's called. This design here is something fresh and new and different from Google, with the bar across the top for the camera suite. And you've got the different colors here on the top and bottom. I think this is very eclectic, and it is definitely a beautiful design. And you can see here the camera bump, it's got a little bit of bump on there. All phones nowadays have some kind of ginormous bump on the back. Yeah, there it is. So on the front here, you've got a 6.7-inch display, Quad HD, and it is absolutely beautiful. You got these shiny sides around the bottom, around the edges of the device, something that you're going to get used to after a while. It's a pretty nice size phone, a little narrow, which is what I like because it makes it easier to hold. And it's a fairly thin device too, and it's got a nice big battery inside. But let's talk about the design for now. And these color schemes that Google has come up with are absolutely great. All phones now, pretty much, you can get them in different colors or whatever. So Google is choosing to do different styles. And you've got this color and you've got two other colors that you can choose from, but the design of this thing is absolutely beautiful. That's something new from Google, and hopefully we see more from them. Now over here you've got the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is their tried and true design that they have just stuck with for quite some time. It's a really nice looking design. I think this is a premium looking phone, and it's really nice because I really like the frosted back on here. In comparison to the shiny back on the Pixel 6 Pro. Now I did have a skin on here, but I took it off because I wanted to show you the phones in their natural state. But if you want to get a skin, hit up SophieGuard.com and you'll be able to get any skin you want for both of these devices. So you've got these glossy stainless steel sides on this one, opposed to the black shiny ones on there. And it's just a tried and true design. Now you do have that Apple cut out at the top right there. Google chooses to use a little just single camera hole at the top, but Google's device doesn't have any kind of facial recognition, and this one does. Google has a fingerprint reader with theirs with no facial recognition, and Apple has facial recognition, so that's a little bit different in the hardware. So the design of these, obviously I think I like them both, but if I had to give this, it's something fresh, it's something new. So Google's design is, I like it a little bit better than the iPhone 13 Pro Max's design, because this is a design that we've seen so long from Apple that, it's just a matter of preference and taste. Some people like this design. Some people are going to say this is a real simple design or whatever, and it just works. Some people might say this is over the top, but I like this subtle design. And the colors also play a part too. Apple does have a graphite version of this device, and it is beautiful. I bought it in the 13 Pro model before getting this, and it's just absolutely beautiful. But I think design-wise, Google has, I think it takes it in that department for the look and the look of the device. I like the new fresh look from Google, and I think it's beautiful. Now let's talk about hardware itself. That is where Apple wins. Even though this is a glass phone, when I hold it next to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it doesn't feel as premium in the hand. The iPhone 13 Pro Max has mastered the art of, because it's got a heavy weight to it. It just feels really good. I like the flat sides on here. It just feels really good in the hand. And then also, Google's device is it's round, it's squared off, and Apple's is rounded. So in the hand, this just feels way more premium. So while Google wins the design of the device, the premium feel goes to Apple, man. This is a beautifully feeling device. And it's just so strange, because the Google device is thin, it's sleek, it's tall, but it's boxy. And I think some people might not like that. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me at all. But when I compare the two, I definitely like the hardware and the premium feel of the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max over the Pixel 6 Pro. Now, both of these devices are offering something different. Again, you've got facial recognition and no fingerprint reader, and then you've got fingerprint reader with no facial recognition. So when it comes to, I guess, features and options, you have more. You have a couple more things on the Pixel 6 Pro that you can actually do. The split screen is there, obviously. You still can't do any kind of split screen. You can't do picture-in-picture on the iPhone yet. I think it's a paid service at this point. I saw it in my temporary, like you can apply for it or whatever. But I'm not going to pay to use picture-in-picture. Obviously, that's a Google thing, and they're going to keep that to themselves for as long as possible. But I hear that it's going to be coming to iPhones, so that'll be good. But you can do picture-in-picture with native videos. You just swipe up, and it'll go picture-in-picture. Like any video that I shoot, it could go picture-in-picture on the iPhone, shot it with the iPhone. But with Google, I can watch YouTube in the background. With YouTube Red, you can watch it in the background of the iPhone, I believe. But I can just swipe up and have a video plan and get picture-in-picture. And so features and options are limited on both, but you can customize Android a little bit better, actually a lot better. You'd have to jailbreak, I think, the iPhone to get it to work like that. And so Google, with the Pixel 6 Pro, obviously Android is offering more customizations and features and options, and that's just the thing. So features and options obviously go to Android, and that's just one other thing to chalk up on the box for using an Android device. You really have a lot more control, and that's a good thing. So I'm going to fire up a video, and I'm going to crank these screens up to total brightness, and I'm going to show you the speakers, and I'm going to show you the screen. So let's get that going. Now they are both at full brightness, and volume is all the way up, so I'll start with the Pixel 6 Pro. And they're also playing at 4K. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So I was on a little bit of a small vacay over the weekend, and I had my iPhone 12. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and start it up on the iPhone. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So I was on a little bit of a small vacay over the weekend, and I had my iPhone. So, I mean, honestly, when I look at both of these in person, like over video, you can't really tell too much difference. More than likely, you might be able to tell a difference in the speakers, but other than that, you know what? I can't even say. Both of these are enjoyable to watch videos on. It's just for screen quality, they both look really good. But over video, you can't really tell too much, but that's a purple iPhone I'm holding. And on the Pixel, it looks purple. So I'm lowering the brightness so the camera can handle it a little better. But on the Pixel, it looks purple. And on the iPhone, it kind of doesn't. You see that? See how the iPhone makes it a little brighter? Just point that out. So, as far as, the phone viewing video on them, though, I don't have a complaint about either one of them. The picture colors, the way that the video and pictures are produced for the colors on the Pixel 6 Pro seem obviously a little bit more accurate in that test, because that is a purple iPhone that I'm holding, and it looks like the Pixel 6 Pro produced that video a little bit more accurately. So yeah, the screens on both of these are absolutely beautiful, man. You can't go wrong. They're both very ginormous screens. And I just think it's a really good thing to be able to watch content on both of them. So I kind of say that's a wash, because that's going to come out to how you like things. But I will tell you that the Pixel did produce it just a hair better for the color reproduction as I looked at the phone portion of that. That was a purple phone I was holding, and it actually looked purple on the Pixel 6 Pro. On the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it looked kind of really bright purple, like a really strong lavender. So yeah, but either way, folks, the screens are beautiful on here. So We're going to take a look now at the cameras, and we'll come back. All right, so here's the front camera on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. The advantage that the iPhone 13 Pro Max has is cinematic mode. It can do that. The Pixel cannot. But if you can do kind of a portrait video with the Pixel, but you just have to get kind of closer to the camera and it'll do it for you. But nonetheless, that's another extra setting in the cameras for the iPhone. But this is just regular video on the iPhone 13 Pro Max on the front camera. So here's just regular straight raw video from the Pixel 6 Pro front camera. Standing in the same spot, as you can see, there's going to be a difference in tones. So you just take note of that. But to me, both videos on the phones look really, really good. It's going to come down to what you like and the tones that you like in a video. So let's switch to the rear cameras for both of these. All right, so here's the iPhone 13 Pro Max rear camera. So just standing in the same position, shooting up here standing in the dining area shooting. Tell me what you think about this quality. All right, so here's the rear camera on the Pixel 6 Pro. Just for reference, all of these are being shot in 4K 60. So just wanted to let you know that. But here's the rear camera on the Pixel 6 Pro. And this is the quality that you could possibly expect when shooting in this type of environment. Now, unfortunately, with the Pixel 6 Pro, you cannot take advantage of the 4x telephoto zoom in 60 frames per second, but you can do it in 30 frames per second. So kind of just zoom in over here on the pictures on the wall. That's 4x. And that's that snap, crackle, and pop that the Pixel 6 has when you do the 4x zoom. It's blurry or kind of shaky, and then it clears everything up. It looks absolutely fantastic, though. So let's back out to 2. And then we'll back out to 1. Now let's take a look at the iPhone. Now with the iPhone, you get what you get in any resolution, which I think is great. 3x zoom. There's no snap, crackle, and pop. It just goes and it's super clear right away. And let's back out to 1 time. And that's what you get, folks. Now, advantage goes to the iPhone on their cameras in a lot of ways. And it's got this cinematic mode, and then I can also shoot in ProRes. Now, while cinematic mode is great, basically portrait video, ProRes is another option that you have. So I can't possibly do a comparison of these cameras and not mention the advantages to the iPhone. While this may not be like flawless, but this is actually really good. As I look at the viewfinder, you just need the right amount of light and you can get some really good portrait style video from the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Now, just for reference, this is a ProRes video shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second. You cannot do 60 frames per second ProRes, but you can do 30 4K at the peak, and this is good. So while Google doesn't have those features, it does have long exposure and action pan and night sight. So I still say the iPhone kind of has the advantage with those features because it can do those, and those are things that customers probably would use more. Not the ProRes, but the cinematic video. Apple has been promoting that like crazy, and I think people will probably use that more. Now, how well do these phones do in kind of a low light setting indoors with some controlled lighting instead of outside? Well, this is it. I'm in my office right now and I just have 2 LEDs going behind it. And I don't have them at full brightness either. They're set kind of low. So let's check out and see how the Pixel does. All right, now here's the Pixel in that same scenario. Really, my overhead lights are off and I just have the LEDs going on that side on the rig for shooting video. So there it is, both cameras giving their best foot forward. All right, guys, so here is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It was too windy to shoot outside, so I just came inside and just stood in front of one of the windows here in the living room. Looking at the viewfinder, it looks pretty good, but we'll switch over to the Pixel 6 Pro right now and see how it looks. All right, so here's the Pixel 6 Pro standing in the same spot right here. Daytime footage for these phones obviously is completely different than night footage, but they're standing here in the same spot, shooting the same video. How does it look? All right, guys, so here's the Pixel 6 Pro in the same area, shooting a quick clip right here. Some daytime footage for you guys in the same area right here. What do you think about the footage? All right, so here's the iPhone 13 Pro Max standing in the same position. Obviously, this is daytime footage again, so you get a different look and feel on how the phones can handle it. What do you think about this footage? All right, so I've got Asphalt 9 loaded up on both. I played it for a little bit to try to get past those tutorials so you can just watch me play a little bit on here and chat about how I think about the performance. But let's start with the Challenger here. Obviously, this is the Pixel 6 Pro. As you can see here, they're both at the third one, so we're going to hit next, and I'm going to play one on each. And then I was going to play Striker Zone, but it's not available in the Apple Store. It's just not there, so I didn't put it on there. It is available, obviously, for the Pixel 6 Pro, but that's how we got to do it. We got to make sure we balance the playing field. There's other games I could play, obviously, but this is just to kind of show you the chips on both, and that's all. That's all I'm really doing here. It's just kind of showing you how they perform on this game right here. This is actually a fun game to play, and we're just going to run it down the mill real quick for this third one here. So in the Himalayas, downhill, we're going to see how this works out, and we're going to play it on both, and I hope you enjoy the performance that you see, how they're handling this game. So hopefully there's no more tutorials. I tried to play it all the way up a little bit until there weren't anymore, but we're about to see here, because I'm actually not at this level on my real profile. I'm actually way higher than this, and I'm just going to just keep an eye out for things you guys look for. Like, you guys look for frame drops and all kind of stuff. I don't know how to look for any of that stuff. I just like to play the games, and that's it. So you check all that out and see judge how you feel both phones are doing. And then, I'll let you guys handle that. Yeah. See, this is a quick one, so you'll be able to see exactly how it's doing. Now, Apple's chip obviously is the one that people really enjoy because it is very powerful, and you can just do so much with this chip right here, and it's just a powerful chip, and it's in the iPad Mini 6, I believe, as well. And I'm actually recording this entire video with the iPad Mini 6, so you let me know what you think about that quality. But yeah, nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and do that. You see, I'm doing the same thing here that I did on the other one. We're going to go ahead and go back out here, and we're going to play. And that's a real quick race. And then we'll move on to another part, of the video to talk about software and things like that. So let's go downhill in the Himalayas again, and let's make this thing happen. Pretty nice. Finish in at least third place. We can kick up first place. All right, so let's do it all over again. You guys check performance and, frame rates and all that stuff. Ooh, boy, flowing right along. Still a little bit better this time. I think I got there a little bit faster. So that is a look at how they can handle just a simple game like this. Game is easy to play, but I'm sure it's pulling some graphics and everything and making the phones work a little bit. So that's just a real brief look at that, because I know you guys really are interested in other things, but I got to show it to you because I got to show you some type of performance on here. So let me tell you how both of these phones feel. The Pixel 6 is a little bit warmer to the touch. And, it's the weird part is the iPhone 13 Pro Max didn't have Asphalt 9, and I installed it, but they were both at the same level. So the Pixel is a little warm right here. Like it's warm. And then the iPhone isn't warm at all. It's still cool to the touch. So I'm not saying that, the Pixel is working harder. Yeah, obviously it is a process. The Tensor chip is new. So and that game just became available like a week ago, because when the phone was new, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, it became available to record this video. But that phone, this phone is new, and the game wasn't available. Asphalt 9 wasn't even available in the Play Store. So the phone is a little warm to the touch. Let's be real here. And the iPhone is not. So, but as far as gaming and stuff like that, what did you guys see with, the phones side by side in performance? So software is something that is, I don't think it's that subjective. Really what we're doing on these phones is, we're playing, I should have left that open so I can go back to it. We're playing games, and we're, doing, things on our phones. That's what we're doing. We're getting on social media, blah, blah, blah. So, this is what we do. And social media, for me, it seems like things work better on the iPhone. Like they're I don't know what it is. Look at Carl. I'm ready for the S22. But I don't know what it is. Social media feels great on the iPhone, but the Pixel software is really nice. And even with those little quirks and bugs that it had, it's still a polished OS, and it's a fast OS. So this is Android 12, and this is iOS 15.1. So what you're looking at here, folks, as far as software goes, is an experience. So on Google, you have Duo and Messenger, and on iOS, you have, or on Android, you have Messenger, Messages, and Duo, and then over here on iOS, you have FaceTime and iMessage. And obviously, there's always that age-old conversation about who does it better, blah blah blah. Everybody bit from BlackBerry anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But personal experience on social media, it just feels smoother on iOS, and that's just the way I feel about it. I've always felt that way. It's not because of the Pixel 6 Pro, just period. I've always said that iOS handles social media, it appears to be a little bit better, and that's going to come down to the developers, folks. That's the developers, the way they're handling the applications and the way they're putting it out. And then it has to it has to work well with Apple software, and it has to work well with Android, Google software. So the software experience is nice. Now, one advantage Apple has is sitting right there. iMovie. Apple has things baked into their OS, or that you can get with the OS that just doesn't cost you anything. And that's a full editor suite right there. So, I mean, you can edit a video, you can shoot and edit and do everything on your iPhone. With Android, you have to buy something. I have PowerDirector Pro, I believe. Yeah, I have PowerDirector Pro that I use to edit with. There are other applications that are free. Google just doesn't have a default editing app. And that's what's kind of depressing at this point. I can transfer files easily with Android. And you've got Nearby Share, and you got AirDrop over here. People tend to think that AirDrop is the best. You have the same capabilities on Android. It's just that Apple promotes these things and it's like more well known because people make it a thing. But on Android, people just don't discuss a lot of the things that are there already. You know what I mean? So software experience, I'm not going to say it's personal preference for you or whoever. People are going to say that, oh, duh, it's personal preference. Well, some things just do better on the other. So when it comes to social media, and you probably wondering, Jay, what do you mean by social media works better on iOS? I think just the overall taking care of business on social media, like just doing things. Like if I go to post, it kind of looks the same. I genuinely like the experience for some reason on iOS, man. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying I don't like the experience on Google. I just feel like these are some of the video photos and stuff from earlier. But it just seems like the experience that you get overall, not just adding posts and doing stuff like that, it just seems like a better experience. And it could be the placebo effect, you know what I'm saying? But apps on iOS don't crash as much for social media for me as on Android. We're not talking about the Pixel 6 Pro at this point. We're just talking about Android and iOS. I've had certain things happen on Android, like especially app crashing. And again, that's not so much, that's the developers not keeping their apps up to date. You know what I mean? Because again, something as simple as Asphalt 9 wasn't in the Play Store when this phone launched. It's so weird. Like that's a popular game and you would think the developers would have been on that. Nope. Wasn't ready for Android 12 or wasn't ready for the Tensor chip, I should say. But nonetheless, I guess you're going to still say it's personal preference, but I say that a lot of the things that are happening on iOS for social media are not happening on Google, on Android, I mean. So while I do like my experience on Android for social media, I just think it's a little bit more polished. The developers care more. That's what I need to say. The developers care more about iOS, it appears. Yeah, they really do. So performance is going to come down to the developers needing to keep those apps up to date, man. Because if the developers don't keep them up to date, then a phone operating system is going to fail. I.e., BlackBerry, i.e., Windows, both great. WebOS, all great operating systems, but developers don't get behind them. What do? You miss out on great stuff. Now, I don't anticipate that happening to Android. I'm just saying. Right now, these two devices, like Android, iOS. I'm not saying I definitely don't prefer Android or iOS over Android, but social media, it seems to be a better experience overall. But software, obviously iOS is extremely polished, and Android 12 just released, and it released with bugs. But iOS 15 came out with a few bugs too, I believe, and It definitely was smoothed out quickly by Apple. I got another update right away. You know what I'm saying? So it just comes down to what you're going to do on your device. So, hey, one thing I think is pretty strange though is with iOS, sometimes I get my Google services just alone. As you can see, I have my Fit, you know what I mean? My Gmail. I could definitely use Apple's native email app. I just don't like it as much for Gmail. But overall, Google services work fantastic on iOS. That's just weird. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Anyway, battery life. This is a simple one. The iPhone 13 Pro Max is better. This phone can go easily upwards of 2 days or more and still pull down a lot of screen on time for those that measure it that way. I personally just like to know how long I'm off the charger because battery life is going to depend on what apps you have on your phone, what you have syncing. There's way too many things that go into battery life. So I hate to even have that discussion nowadays because, while I can confirm some things and people might say, yeah, my battery life's the same. One thing we can all agree on is that the iPhone 13 Pro Max has fantastic battery. It just does. Now the Pixel 6 Pro has great battery too. It's just a matter of the standby time. That's where Apple tends to do better because they don't let the resources run amok when it's just sitting still. They don't let things run around through the phone when it's just sitting still. They just don't. So that was a look, man. That's a comparison of these two devices. The last thing that Google wins is the price. 128 gig version of this device cost $899, and 128 gig version of this one costs $1099. So you're looking at a $200 difference. So yeah, Google's going to always win the price. Apple's phones are very expensive, and you know what I'm saying. I think it's a matter of, you know, some people are going to say it's Android and iOS, but it's just a smartphone. That's the way I see it. These are both great smartphones, but I think Apple has really edged out Google in just a few areas, and those are areas that some people might think are important. So yeah, what do you think about the comparison? Which one do you like better? Which one would you buy? You know, which one do you think is the right one to pick up if a person wants to spend a little bit of money? I was going to recommend that a person try to save some money. And if you don't want to get the Pro models, the Max of the, you know, so you have the iPhone 13 and you have the Pixel 6, both of which I actually have. So we'll check out that comparison too. But for now, I think this is a little too close to call for me. I like a lot about both of them. So I'll let you decide in the comments which one you think's better. But it's your man Jay. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.